So, how many times until the last session you had a moment of upset, getting into anxiety, or and what is this? We are on a journey to permanent peace and happiness, and still, what happens? How many times? Don't answer me, but answer yourself. So, in that context, we are discussing about impurity of the mind. And when we purify the mind by a conventional method, it helps our personal, professional, and social life every day. And and then we go for the best method. So we have to discuss today why the best method is this self-inquiry and where to start. But at the same time, we should continue the conventional method. So the conventional method you are continuing, you forget, you continue, then there is no need to ask how many times we are getting upset in our life. Even at the personal level, your physical, the body may have the pain, your family members said you something, society. Society, relations. Oh, the weather is not good. I know that I told you before this lady in New Jersey. Don't you see the weather is so rough? It makes me very sad. Oh, the weather makes you very sad. So, weather should depend on you. So, we are not applying the conventional method. So, the Eastern wisdom, which I have been talking about, it is a self awareness program. It is an emotional freedom program. It's a mental transformation. So, what happens when we apply this conventional method? We start minimizing the impact of the world outside on me. One, and at the same time, we continue to purify the mind. Two, and we give a break to the false side. False side, it is the false side that is the source of all the pain and the suffering. So, first method is the conventional method, and second is the that we have been saying the self-inquiry. But we have to understand the which method is more powerful, but we should continue with the conventional method to help our personal, our professional, our daily life. Because if someone has said you something and that made you upset, so you cannot tell him or her, please wait, let me do the self-inquiry, I'll come back to you. So there only the conventional method applies. I believe you are getting it. So now go little deeper. Look at the teachings of our masters that there is an impurity and there is an ignorance. There is impurity and there is ignorance. Now ask yourself which comes first? What do you mean? Is the impurity the cause of ignorance or ignorance is the cause of impurity? So we have two sets of problem and then we have to find a solution. Impurity, you get upset, you get angry, and after that you say, I'm sorry, I did not mean that. So when you say, I did not mean that, that is ignorance. So ignorance was already there that caused the impurity. Think of this. The more you think of this, your mind has been thinking, he cheated me or she cheated me, or you have been thinking, mind is repeating that thought in ignorance. Now you are in front of that person and you are upset. You are angry. You are, whether it is your mom and dad, whether it is your honey, whether it is your friend, and we say, that is it. I lived with you too much, and too much is too much. Enough is enough. So when we use the word enough is enough, obviously the ignorance is the cause of the impurity in the mind. Are you able to understand it clearly? Our impurity is anxiety, getting upset, depending on the or having an emotional dependence and the greed and too much of concern about others. So ask yourself, is the impurity comes first or the ignorance? The answer is ignorance is the first. If I'm building an anger against you, ignorance is first. I'm living into that ignorance and then I express it through the mind, whether I express it silently inside, so I'm burdening myself. I speak something bad about others. I have already expressed that ignorance, which has become an impurity. Are you getting it? Say yes. Nod your head. So understand that ignorance is first before the mind becomes impure. And that ignorance creates a false identity with a situation, with a person, with a honey. Everything starts from the ignorance. What is ignorance? Error in perception. What is ignorance? Wrong understanding. What is ignorance? Misunderstanding. So the more and more you reflect, say, for example, that you are getting upset over me mentally. So I have to ask myself that why I'm getting upset. What is the cause of getting upset? And you will find there is no reason except we discussed about it. Do you remember? Desire is anger, desire is greed, desire is expectation, desire is dependence, desire. If I don't have any expectation, the mind is not going to be impure. But why I have an expectation? I will be happy because if you meet my expectation, that is what the ignorance is. So our question is still there. Is the ignorance comes first or the impurity? And the answer is that the ignorance is the cause of impurity. Impurity is not the cause of ignorance. First, I live in ignorance, I have a misunderstanding, and that misunderstanding may be desire or expectation. So, desire and expectation, my friends, that desire and expectation uh, causes what it causes. It may cause anger, it may cause reaction, it may cause hesitation, it may cause greed, it may cause millions of thought process. And that thought process, when it is expressed at the mental level, at the emotional level, that is the impurity. We are moving to the higher states of the consciousness step by step. We have been covering that impurity of the mind. We must apply the conventional method until we die. Why? Because it should change my entire personality, attitude, the way I think and speak and act and do. Why? Because I can keep aside the false ego. False ego, another name of the desire, another name of the expectation. Another name of the impurity of the mind. Do you plan to be angry? Tomorrow at 10 a.m., I will be angry. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., I will fight with you. Let me meet you. Do you plan? That, that shows that I'm living in ignorance. So ignorance is first. And that ignorance expresses itself in the form of impurity. What is that? I rationalize that why I became angry over you. And if you look back, the rationalization, it doesn't stand anywhere. Hesitation, it doesn't stand. Try this. If you plan to be angry tomorrow at 10 a.m., the moment the 10 a.m. comes, you'll have a smile on your face. What is the reason? Ignorance. What is ignorance? Lack of awareness. So you are planning. It will be a conscious event at 10 a.m. because you have put it into the calendar. And that removes the ignorance. So we are understanding ignorance and the impurity. So ignorance is the cause of all the impurities. But then how to start? I have been applying the conventional method in my life at all the time, but still something triggers from the past impression. What should I do? Even before that, I talked about Ganesha in a symbolic expression. That is the answer. But we will go. But to apply the best method is the self inquiry. And the self inquiry means that I should be qualified. And I'm applying the conventional method. So it means the mind is getting in qualified, and that mind will become pure. It will have an intense desire for the freedom and bringing an end to the suffering. So, a couple of issues we are discussing. One, ignorance. Other is impurity. Which one is the best? But why it is the best? Why we say? And why we say that we have not to live, not to leave the conventional method. So you need to contemplate this week ignorance, impurity, which one is greater and more powerful? One. I have to continue the conventional method. Why? So that the mind is getting purified and the intense desire to discover the real self will continue. What should I do? Mind is not listening. That is one question that comes to the mind. You see how the root of the problem. You wake up in the morning and your body is tired and fatigued. The mind gets obsessed with the body. You have left the conventional method. Or you see the person whom you hate. So the mind verbally starts working on you. What should I do? We will answer two more questions. First is that what should I do at those moments? Terry some definitely says that what should I do? It is with the body. So not only with you, it is with everyone. One thing is there that you have a particular problem, but everyone has the same mind is functioning in the same way. So the master says, Mangala Charan, they are going little deeper. What is Mangala Charan? I perceive the auspicious event I perceive the auspiciousness in relationship, in time, in location. Why? Because it comes from deeper within. What is deeper within it is the real self. We have some now serious and advanced sessions unless we understand conventional method, one, best method, two, the relationship of ignorance and impurity, three, but my mind is not listening to me. So I have to apply Mangalacharan. I'll give you a brief introduction of this Mangalacharan. We say Namaste, it is also Mangalacharan. But I have to do it with the thinking and the feeling. Namaste means I am you and you are me. So when I am you and you are me, question of impurity of the mind will not arise. So I'm picking up the higher consciousness. This is one way to do the Mangalacharan. Second way of doing the Mangalacharan, you pick up any mantra. First thing you do it mentally, or you do it in any in Sanskrit language, or you start contemplating, let everyone be happy. And ask yourself that why everyone should be happy. That guy harmed me, so that is a part of my impurity of the mind. I should not live in the impurity. So any mantra for blessing and the grace. So you see that we are using the mantra to apply the conventional method. Third appears very simple, but it is the most difficult. What is that, Mangalacharan? I am the real self. Why it is most difficult? Then we will pick up one more issues. Do you think that why it is more difficult? On Saturdays, I picked up one issue. Teacher says you are real self, indirect knowledge. Do you remember? Yes. But until you realize your mind also declares that I am the real self, then only it becomes a direct knowledge. Every direct knowledge helps you to realize the highest state of the consciousness. No, no, this beard guy already told me I'm the real self. So what to worry? Let me continue to live with ignorance and impurity, so that will not work. That will not work. So what should we do? We keep on listening, continue the journey. So one day, this mind, when it has an intense desire for freedom, the same mind will declare, I am the real self. And the next moment, the impurity drops. What is the best Mangalacharan? Best Mangalacharan, Buddha says, know thyself. You have left the entire world, you have left the conventional methods. Now your mind is absorbed inside. That is the best. That is the best Mangalacharya. Now understand what ignorance and impurity. Come to the last point, and we have to contemplate it. So, which one is first? We have already seen ignorance causes the impurity. Ignorance is the cause, and impurity is the effect. Ignorance is the cause, and impurity is the effect. My master used to say that why you are expecting something from the other when that person is not capable to meet your expectation. So because they are not able to meet your expectations, so you make the mind impure. He is not listening. She is not listening. I've already told you the story of this young guy. Uh, Three relationship. This is the fourth. I have given 200%, but she is not giving. So you already have an expectation. It's big challenging to remain aware, not to have any expectation when still we are living in relationship. So when you drop that expectation, the love takes place, the compassion takes place, the kindness takes place. So we brought another point for you to remember that if the other person, other situation, event is not able to fulfill my expectation and still I am forcing it, that is one of the major reason of getting upset, mood swing, anxiety, anger, duality, conflict, break in relationship. There is no other reason. So it's the mutual play of the ignorance and the impurity. So here, when we say the self-inquiry is the best method, because not only it directly attacks on the ignorance, and when we remove the ignorance, it minimizes the impact of the impurity, and even the impurity is gone. That is why it is known as the best method. Are you getting it? Ignorance, I'm living in ignorance. There is an error in perception. My mind keeps on thinking it is, no, no, I have to teach that guy a lesson. I have to teach. So now these thoughts are going on in my mind. And I'm not aware of this. It is not going to help me. It is not going to help me. So, why we say it is a best method? Because it directly attacks our ignorance, and then we become aware, mind, why you are working on me, why you are inviting reaction, anger, anxiety, and expectation from the situation outside. The moment you are aware of it, it is the same thing that you cannot become angry if you plan to be angry tomorrow at 10 a.m. because now you are living in awareness. So we have added one very small part, Mangalacharan. Every day we wake up in the morning, and the first thing, because we are going to live in this world of family, of the country, of the city, of situations, events, and people are not in our control. I have to keep my mind under conscious control to apply the conventional method at the same time applying the self inquiry. I'm expecting from someone, oh, let me casually go and ask them. If they meet, it's okay. If they don't meet, it is okay. You don't rely, you don't create a situation, and that what happens, you continue to live into that state of awareness that makes you a qualified seeker. The intensity continues to increase. So, what is going to happen? The time will come after a few weeks. Every day you wake up in the morning, and the first thing is that, oh, today is the auspicious day in my life. And the second reason why the self inquiry is the best method, the first, it directly hits the ignorance. Second, it is the direct method to deal with the thought, feelings, situations, and expectations. It is the direct method. What is indirect? No, no. I will hold my anger, then I will talk to you that you are such a good person, but I'm holding the anger. But when I do the self inquiry, I find the cause of the anger is because of the expectation. I drop that expectation. And now I'm meeting. I believe you all are getting it. Look at the subtler ways our masters help us to evolve, rise in consciousness, and reach to the higher state. What Buddha says, know thyself. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed and settle. Eyes are closed and you are settling in the comfort. What is that comfort? So we have done it in a different ways. Just look at the neck joint, be there, feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. In that steadiness, look inside, become aware of the space, whether it is a space or emptiness. what message we are sending to the mind by asking that you be there in the space or emptiness. Inside, nearest to you, there is only one, that is real self. It is not that you are moving your mind inside the head and that is the meaning of going within. We will understand that is the biggest blunder we seekers do. Oh, move inside. So move inside means moving inside the body. No. Move inside means rise in consciousness. If that real self is present inside the body, it is present inside, it is present outside. Look at the shoulder joints, be there, feel sensation, comfort, and steadiness, and then the space. Be aware of the space. So, actually, what is actually happening, the language, the thought, the feeling about a person, situation, and thing comes from outside. Even the language, we learned it from outside. You move into that state of emptiness to make the mind realize that nothing outside is the cause of the misery. Become aware of the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Awareness of the entire body. Feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now you see, when I say that, experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness, still the unwanted thought enters into the mind, maybe a feeling about a situation, about a condition. And there we have to deal with. We do not participate in the lane number one. Unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are there. Unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are there. So, what we are doing? Is it not a self-enquiry? Yes. We discussed it today in detail, but we have been doing it. So when you do not participate in the lane one of unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, you become the knower. And the knower is different and separate from what is happening in the mind. And that makes us live into higher awareness. And that is what is being carefree. Another way to understand. So, in every step, we add some element of self inquiry, analysis, understanding what I am and what I am not. The way we laid unwanted, unwelcome thoughts at rest. No, we are not a part of it. Finished. Will it happen on a day? No. As you continue the practice, the time will come you are able to see that these thoughts and feeling about the world and yourself is too far from you. Yes, we got it. So now you see another rule of the mantra Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Never forget. Pick up any step of Mangalacharan in your life until this mind is ready to repeat without recalling and remembering. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Let there be happiness for all or well being for all. Both are okay. And instantly, now you see you are analyzing. Analysis means contemplation and reflection is going on. This mind cannot easily accept until we do it every day consciously and apply into the conventional method. Oh, happiness. Everyone is seeking happiness who are living species in this world. But how come? Because it is my essential nature. So I have no right to get agitated, to get upset, and to react. Do you see that? You are linking that. Unless this self-inquiry stays with the mantra, no changes takes place. Ignorance, impurity. I discussed about which one is the better or greater, but doesn't mean that we should leave the lower. Sarve sham shantir bhavatu. Sarve sham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Let there be peace for all. Peace for all. And you can analyze, I have repeated many a times, if everyone is seeking peace, can I understand that? Yes. Look at any living species. So it means peace is my essential nature. So it is their essential nature. I have no right, they have no right, but they are not learning Eastern wisdom. I am learning, so I have a greater responsibility. What is that responsibility? Endurance. I have to tolerate. We will talk about that. There is a limit, but what is that limit? We should understand that. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let there be a completeness in all. It does not mean that I am praying for everyone. We already are complete in ourselves. Real self is complete, it's a whole. Have you heard in religion people talk about holiness? Because I am created by the whole, I must be whole. So I have to break over all the limitations, and these limitations are caused by, now you're relating it, ignorance and the impurity. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Let there be auspiciousness for all. I have already explained it. So you can use, these Shanti mantras come from the revealed text. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityu. So that's for your personal evolution. Why it is for personal evolution? It will work with the self-enquiry. Asatoma Satgamaya. Let me recognize what is false and what is real. So you start the analysis during the day and you can separate what is unreal from the real. Agitated, upset. I have expected a lot from you. Enough is enough. So are these statements can really help me? Are these statements false or true? So you are analyzing in your head. Also, is there any other way to express that thought? Yes. You know it. We all are fairly intelligent. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. You see, moving from the ignorance to the wisdom. I told you self-inquiry removes that ignorance. In turn, it removes the impurity. How many times I was ignorant dealing with my members of the family, the society, even driving. Do you see that? That will go a long way in bringing a transformation in our life. And that is going to affect your personal, professional, social. Mrityurmamritangamaya. Just cited it as an example. So there is a limitation in the mind pertaining to the fear of death. So we have to analyze who dies. Body dies or I? Or just so now is the time we will continue with our breathing. So look deep inside the forehead in the space. Look deep inside the forehead in the space and Om Shanti. So you are dropping Om Shanti. You see, we added Mangalacharan Om Shanti. I am the Om Shanti. I am the Om. I am the real self. I am the pure consciousness. Don't try to create a cult dogma belief that, Om Shanti. No, it has nothing to. It's a message to the mind, to the self inquiry. And in that state, you start breathing quick and short breath into your chest. Keep on, continue, my friends. You all are fairly clear. Ignorance, impurity, Mangalacharan, intense desire. These words. Keep on, continue, my friends. We are doing 3 minutes each. I already told you clearly 3 minutes each. So don't allow the mind. What, why the mind wants to stop? Because of the impurity. Why there is an impurity? Because of ignorance. And stop it, do nothing. Do I believe you still remember the desire is the impurity of the prana? Prana means the life force or the breath. Where? In the mind. It is such a beautiful statement. It indicates how deeper the Eastern wisdom is. So just have an experience, whatever is happening in terms of vision and the colors and tingling and the numbness, just be with it. And now look inside. Keep on. Om Shanti continues. You are aware of the valley. And then start breathing into the valleys. Expansion and squeezing of the valley. Longer breath, deeper breath. Continue, my friends. The mind is already living into that state of a spaciousness, of understanding, of awareness because of the previous steps. So, so this step is another way not only to apply to remove the ignorance and to remove the impurity. It's a little longer breath, and you are inhaling into the belly. I made it clear that longer breath because the lower lobes of the lungs are bigger than the upper lobes of the lungs that are located inside the thoracic region, which is known as the rib cage. Very clarity should be there. This is what the analysis is. So why we want a clarity? The mind will say in the middle, I cannot do it, I don't want to do it. These are the impurities. Oh, so should we continue to do it? Yes. Only the belly expands and contracts. And leave this, allow the breath to return to the normal with variety of experiences happening in the body, inside the head, on the breath. We let it happen. Shanti continues in the now. Now Om Shanti continues. We have to inhale both into the belly and the chest. It means I fill up the air both into all the lobes of the lungs, starting from the belly to the throat, and again from the belly to the throat. I exhale and start breathing long, deep, and a bit hissing breath. You inhale into the belly, then continue into the rib cage, and sometime we will see that the mind breaks up the breath. It's okay. That is because of the impurity. We recognize the ignorant part of it. So the next breath should be done according to the knowledge that we received. And you will find after a few weeks, then it becomes a play and a fun for you. That is the key. Now do nothing. So when you do nothing, become aware of the entire body from the crown of the head to the toes and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Just appreciate, recognize the experiences that is taking place now. But with awareness, I'm none of these experiences. I'm an experiencer. Now look inside the cave of your heart, triangle, Om Shanti, you move the mind. So you see that you move the mind on the side, the duration of movement of the mind on the side and the Om Shanti, they sync together on all the three sides, clockwise, anti-clockwise. Why? Why? Answer is ignorance and impurity should not be there. Oh, then we become free from the mind and we go beyond the mind. And when you feel sync is there, that is what we have understood. Pushing the mind with Om Shanti. And you are absorbed. You may say it is a silence, it is an emptiness. You are, because the mind is absorbed inside. That is why we are experiencing calmness, peace, and the joy. Not the other way. We normally say, let me relax and then go into meditation. The more the mind moves inside, leaving the impurity and the ignorance, greater, deeper the experiences. I already told you what it means by moving the mind. When you rise in consciousness, you do not fall. The impurity, ignorance, fall in consciousness. Minimize impurity, rise in consciousness. What do you mean by rise in consciousness? The highest consciousness is the real self. So we have to rise, not to fall. Shanti. And now, japa, dropping Om Shanti through the mind's eye, through ear, to the mind's. The mind is not through the sense organ. The objective word lost. What remains is the Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Until the next session, if you contemplate and reflect, you will discover that we have the best method available to manage our anxiety, duality, conflict, depression, and host of other psychological illnesses. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside, know your experiences, bring the hands down. We'll start sharing our experiences, Stephen and Sam.
Thank you. It was when you told us to close our eyes. As soon as I closed my eyes, I said to myself, peace, happiness, truth, and wisdom is my essential nature. Accomplish that through conventional method, self-reflection, and the Buddha says to know thyself. And I immediately got absorbed into the meditation. And I didn't really follow I was conscious of your commands of what to do next, but I was just absorbed. And I didn't actually get to actually start doing something till the japa. And I don't even think I got through the first finger. And I was back into this deep absorption. So it was very, very nice, relaxing meditation. Thank you.
Yes, that is the power of understanding. Impurity, which is the cause, no, impurity, which is the effect of the ignorance. And the moment that is also a Mangalacharan, creating an auspiciousness when you say, peace, happiness, love, and wisdom are my essential nature. So it triggers the mind and takes the mind deep inside. That's really beautiful. How are you, Sam?
Good. It was very, very quiet and peaceful for me. Good meditation.
Beautiful. We have and start living day by day into that state. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. Great meditation. I started at the very beginning to just focus on Om Shanti, and that just purified the mind to like a new level. By the time we were doing the triangle, I thought I'm going to have some, as you would say, a play and a fun, and I would just change directions randomly, kind of like, with my Om Shanti around the triangle, and it was just by the time I got into japa, I was just, I don't know. It was great. Thank you.
Very good. You see that it is definitely important to do the japa Om Shanti, but much more important is to know it. And that is a part of the self inquiry. And the moment we know, we are aware, means we are in that knowledge. That takes away the impurities so fast. It becomes a play and a fun. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. Thank you. Meditation was really great. It was pretty much a very continuous level, I guess I would say, during it. And I found that the mind, when the mind notices that it's being ignorant, it wants to laugh at it.
That's
And
better.
and only with my own mind, right? I don't find myself wanting to like look at somebody else and go, oh, they're being, and laugh at them at all. But at my own mind, I laugh at my own mind when it's being ignorant. So it's interesting, and it notices it right away.
Yeah. The moment we recognize there is a movement of ignorance in the mind, very recognition drops the ignorance and it prevents the impurity. And that is why we have a big laugh. Oh, that's okay. I'm not going there. I'm not expressing this. So that is what the higher level of awareness is. Beautiful. Beautiful. How are you, Samir?
Sir, mind is now always ready to go inside. Means
Good.
in any situation while driving the car, listening to you, or means whenever I get time, mind wants to go inside and listen to what you say
Yeah.
and whatever is the means meditation, and it is always searching to go inside. That means always trying to or willing to go inside. And today also after meditation, it went inside very quickly, and I was into deep into meditation.
Beautiful. Understand, I think I discussed that moving inside means there is a rise in consciousness. How, as a human being, I live with a higher level of awareness as compared to the mosquito or the tiger. Do you see that? I have many options as a human being to save myself, and the tiger is limited. So, what happens? The ego creates that limitation, the ignorance and the impurity cause that limitation. And when you live at the higher level of awareness, nothing, neither the impurity nor the ignorance works. Beautiful. How are you, Brandy?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. To your point, it's always nice to be in a higher state of consciousness, but my body's sick right now. So I had some bodilessness and just gave, my mind was able to quiet my mind and feel pretty good for a little while.
Yeah, even if the body is sick and you transcend the body in the meditation, and you will find a tremendous relief in the body. Beautiful. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm good. Experience was like that when I'm in the present moment, mind is very quiet, mind is very calm, and it is aware of the present moment. And when I'm like thinking something, then mind becomes talkative and it becomes like it starts seeing something. So if the when I get aware of that, it's again come back to the present moment. Again, everything becomes calm and peaceful.
Yes. This coming and the going will continue until same thing again. That is how we express the ignorance and the impurities are gone. Until then, this thing will happen. What will happen after that? Ignorance is gone. Still, the mind will become active. But now, this everything that happens in the mind is a play and a fun. So we continue to live into that higher state of the consciousness, or you can say real self. That is what Buddha says, know thyself. How are you, Anastasia? I think people could not find the internet connection. That's why. Yes, yes, Anastasia.
Thank you. I'm good. It was very deep meditation. I felt my body elongated in the darkness and calmness. Very calm. Thank you.
Very calm. Good. Yeah, we find an expansion of the body or the contraction of the body. It is because of the movement of the prana along with the mind. That we will discuss later. That is all for today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Namaste.